compared to just the one factory and the one starport. The starport now turning out Vikings. He knows about those Colossus, and he knows that he needs to be killing them quickly into the engagement. As we see all the upgrades going down now, Terran ship weapons level 1 along with the infantry weapons and armour level 2. And as we see charge going down, yes, as expected, charge very, very useful, allows the Zealots to close the gap between him and the Terran very effectively, and of course then allows the Colossi to get extra hits in. This is a brilliant move by WhiteRa. He knows exactly how to deal with this, as we see 2 more gates going down now. And as we move into the base here, we see this is fully saturated. Along with this, all base is now pretty much fully saturated for Strelok. So he is going to expand, but he's going to expand to this place over in the east. The hidden expansion can be very useful. Of course, it is difficult to defend should WhiteRa find out about it, but this map is so large, it is hard to find. And forces a cancel there on WhiteRa's next natural. Interesting that he's choosing to go there instead of here. While this is closer to his base and therefore much more easily defensible, it is also expanding directly towards Strelok. So he's choosing to move over here. Now does have this force of zealots, which could be enough to destroy this, depending on how stimmed he is. As we see Strelok now just checking all the bases very cleverly, because he knows he's hidden an expansion, and he knows Duckload WhiteRa could be doing exactly the same thing. As we move here, we see the observer here is watching everything that's going on. We'll be seeing this push come out, and is going to follow this army, see exactly what's going on, sees all these Vikings, knows he needs to get Blink up as soon as possible. That's going to allow him to blink his stalkers directly underneath the Viking, and is in fact even upgrading Protoss shields to level 1, which is something we so rarely see in this game. That is a large force, however. He needs to be very, very careful at this point. He has 4 Colossi, one of which is very damaged. Cannot afford to be losing those. As we see, this is going, needs to cancel it, and I don't think he did. That's really bad. You cannot afford to be losing bases like that. And as we see what could be a final engagement, these Vikings really need to be doing the damage to the Colossi. 1 Colossi goes down, 2 Colossi, 3 Colossi go down. He's losing them all so fast. There is nothing against these Vikings. The bio army is going down, but it's not going to be enough. You cannot remake those Colossi fast enough. With infantry weapons level 3 now up, Blink is still not finished, losing all those Colossi, and down here we see a drop going on. This base is now being stopped from mining, forcing him to warp in all these zealots to take it down again. Has finally got this base up, but a drop here as well. A drop here taking out all the probes now in the main base. He's going to lose this nexus, he's going to lose everything in here. Does not have enough to fight it off. And a small force here trying to harass. Another force here now stopping this expansion yet again from spawning. As we see everything going down here. There is just nothing Duckload WhiteRa can do. Everything is dying. His whole base is being taken down. Finally gets the money to warp in some units. And is going to put a stop to that. This one Marauder here looking very frustrated. Taking his frustrations out on those probes. As this drop is finally cleaned up, but again, still just on these 3 bases. While Strelok has taken this 4th as the planetary fortress, lost all those Colossi, which is just not good enough. You cannot afford to do that. Protoss ground weapons now going up to level 3, but it feels like too little, too late with just 2 Colossi. If you look at the food count, 145 food to 168. Strelok with the edge, and without the Colossi, he's just not going to be able to kill this bio army. And all these Vikings, he doesn't have the stalker count to fight them. This is mostly zealots, and that's not going to be enough, because the Marauders are just going to kill these stalkers so quickly. Once again, all the Colossi go down. He's landing the Vikings, which is such a confident move. He feels like he can definitely win this now, as he knows there are no Colossi on the field. This game does not have long to go, I fear, as Strelok is showing us just how good the bio army can be against the less mobile Protoss Death Ball. But all these units do go down. There are a few zealots left. However, he's not going to be able to do any damage, as we still have these bunkers here, although now salvaging. just to get an extra slice of money. As we see, this base has been up so long, and if we look at the economy, there's just such a difference. WhiteRa has a lot of money, but don't forget, he lost the Nexus here, he lost some production facilities and had to rebuild them. He does have the forge, finally getting ground weapon level 3. A second forge here being completely unused. Just doesn't have the money to do anything, having to rebuild the Nexuses constantly, rebuilding it here now. As we see, this Marauder is going to find out that it's back, could potentially drop it yet again. As we see now, another command center being made here for Strelok is probably going to take this base, although could potentially take the smaller one here, just to be further away from here in case this gets attacked, and he doesn't want him to know that he's got a base here. But another large force now pushing out, as we see sacrificed Vikings for medevacs, knowing that WhiteRa cannot have many Colossus. Is now getting Templar Archives, is switching into High Templar, but it feels once again just too little, too late. Should have switched much earlier after that first engagement. As we see now Archons being morphed. Archons being morphed. Very useful against the Bio Army. High Templar now coming out. But again, it's just so late. This needed to happen much earlier, because infantry armor level 3 is about halfway done. Even getting the building armor upgrade now, Strelok is just laughing in the face of WhiteRa, just getting every upgrade he can think of, trying to spend his money now that he's at max food. And a big engagement here. The Colossi, the Archons just melt through bio so quickly, but it's not enough. Once again, this Nexus goes down, and he continues to engage with this army. All the Stalkers going down. These Colossi will now die so quickly. Everything there dies for Duckload, WhiteRa, and the GG goes down. GG on WhiteRa means imba.Strelok takes this game with an absolutely brilliant bio play from him. Abused the largeness of the map, abused the mobility of the bioforce. He knew WhiteRa could not continue to defend all these bases, and so managed to shut them down time and time again, allowing him to get the economic advantage. WhiteRa's one failing was when that first group of Colossi didn't work and died. He tried to rebuild them, and you just cannot afford to lose Colossi like that. So when you do, when you see the bio-heavy army, you need to make that switch straight away. You need to either get your Stargates up and attack the Vikings with Phoenixes. You can use the Phoenixes against them very well, or you get the Templar Archives and you switch to High Templar and you use Storm and Archons to decimate the bio army. That also works really well. Of course, you can go the other route and get a mothership. That doesn't necessarily help, but motherships are awesome, and all you Protoss should be getting them, just because I love casting motherships. But okay, that's enough for that game today. It was a fun game. I'm sorry I didn't get to it last week, but I'm glad I've got to it now. I've been dying to cast that for a while. Loving the play of imba.Strelok. So of course, do not forget, you can join us in the chat for all you new viewers. irc.funetic.net/gaming. And a big thanks to Nodus and L who run that for us. Don't forget as well, you can send me your StarCraft 2 replays to VocTerGaming at gmail.com. I do get those, I do watch them, I will cast them. Please send me them, even if you are terrible. So long as something interesting happens, so long as it's not just a 12-minute I push with a load of siege tanks and everything dies, I will cast them and it will be fun. So you will be famous, internet famous, which is better than real fame. Don't forget also, join our EVE Corporation, which is Dathmora, Dathmora. We are very good with new players, so if you feel like taking up EVE, please come along and join us. One last notification, Red Rings TV on YouTube. Go check it out. He is a friend of mine, a new friend of mine, who is basically plays every game under the sun other than Starcraft. And he makes videos and he chats on them, and I find them pretty good watching. So give him a go, We're doing a bit of cross-promotion this week. So watch youtube.com/user/redringstv. And that is us for today. Now, what I have over the next 3 days for you is a very, very sexy series of Mouse Manor versus Thorzane. Thorzane is a player that is taking the world by storm at the moment, and he's just made the move into GSL after his impressive performance at MLG. So we are going to take a look at him versus one of the best players in Mouse Manor. So this is going to be a very Terran vs Protoss week. So join us please tomorrow for the first game in Mouse Manor vs Thorzane. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all tomorrow.